On tonight's pod, Bunt has an announcement. I stayed in college, so I watched the Cowboys burn. We're going to talk about the donk. Or is it the doink? Not sure. Jingles is going to cover the titans of politics. Well, we're definitely going to talk about the Bills and Ravens game. We might as well feast. Other than that, everyone, welcome to the Jersey Tales, a mascot's take on sports, or at least something close to it. So up first, Bunt. Hi.
Hey,
So there's been some football games
yeah,
in,
yeah, I know.
in college that has occurred just recently. And if you would tell me who are the two teams that are playing for the college national championship right now?
We have Ohio State versus Notre Dame.
Okay, so which one of those two schools is a member of the SEC?
Neither of them.
And I believe there are some consequences to that statement, right?
There is.
Why don't you tell everyone what the bet was who weren't around to listen to it?
The bet was if any SEC team won the national championship, then E would have had to wear, my bad, can't speak, a Georgia jersey and say that the SEC was the best conference this season. However, there are no SEC teams left. So, all that has went back on me, and I now have to wear a Louisville jersey and say how much the SEC sucked this season.
No, but how much did the SEC suck this year?
The SEC sucked that much to where the majority of them beat up on each other and just showed how bad they were. And most of them were first round exits. And one of them had to take a bailout to make it to the next round. So, that in conclusion, the SEC was overrated this year.
I think what the words you were looking for is the SEC sucks so bad this year that Vandy went bowling.
Yes, that exactly. But I will add on that I am at least happy that through it all, Georgia still stands on top with a backup quarterback.
Stands on top of what?
The mid ass. Wait, my bad. The very mid SEC year.
I was it Arizona State, right? That was, or was it Iowa State? Which is it Arizona State?
Arizona State?
That was the one against Texas.
Yes.
They exposed them for how bad they really are.
Well, I mean, it was kind of obvious Texas wasn't going to make it far. They lost twice to a team that lost Notre Dame, so they were going to lose somehow.
How bad did you lose to Notre Dame?
By 13 points?
Almost 2 touchdowns.
Didn't really even get to, touch up on that at all, but our offensive line is what got us killed that week. But, obviously Notre Dame wanted it more. Congrats to them beating us for the first time in their school history. But it doesn't matter. They won.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the fact that we had to use a backup quarterback. It was the fact that our offensive line let Gunnar Stockton down that entire night, and they were the reason why we lost that game. They all of it, and the receivers dropping wide open passes, but most of it was the offensive line. They got Gunnar Stockton killed all night, and they let him down. And if it wasn't for that, Georgia might have had a better shot that game. But
But I believe you say that the reason why they didn't win that game is because the SEC sucks this year,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's also true. That is also true.
I'm enjoying this immensely.
We can tell. We can tell.
I know
Uh,
you are. Maybe when I get my first suit, whenever that comes along, you'll see the picture of me wearing a Louisville jersey. It's at least going to be Lamar's number, though.
good luck on that one. I don't know, because Louisville's got some pretty fire jerseys, so we may have. You may want to hold off on picking a player before you see what the new jerseys look like.
I do have to admit, y'all do have pretty solid jerseys.
Plus, we got like the Murder Birds outfit. Like that one's
But
freaking dope.
But at least the only reason why I say Lamar is because people will see me more as a Lamar appreciator than a Louisville fan if I have a Lamar jersey.
What about this college one though? And people are like, oh, he went to Louisville? Yeah, he did.
But there, you got it. You got it. But mark my words, next season, we'll run another.
So now it's up to me now to stay in college, which I guess I will do like the responsible individual. First off, segueing from the Louisville jersey talk to a little bit of college basketball. Don't look now, but Louisville right now is in the top 3 of the ACC in basketball. So, yay turnaround, right? That's way better. We've won more games, I think, this year in the ACC than Kenny Payne did we've won one less in the ACC than Kenny Payne has won in his entire time of coaching when he was there last. So we are all celebrating this new coach and things are going well. I think we're like 5-1 right now in conference play. And we just look like a good team. And we're still injured too. So, we've got some guys that can come back off of injury, and I think we'll really skyrocket. It's kind of reminding me of that 2013 team that apparently we're not allowed to acknowledge, but I was there. I saw it.
That might have been a fever dream, honestly.
Well, all I know is I was there. Like I was there.
You were? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, allegedly it didn't happen, so that's why I got to make sure you were, not.
I mean, if that's the case,
misremembering things.
the university owes me a lot of money back for those tickets.
Yeah, for sure.
Talking about, oh my bad.
Yeah, I'm staying in college, so I just wanted to throw that out there because we're judging the waters because I really want to do a basketball show. I mean, a lot of it right now has been football based, but I really want to do a basketball show, and college b-ball is my jam. So
yeah, I wanted to throw in the fact that y'all probably tired of hearing me talk about Georgia a lot, but I mean, don't look now, but Georgia's doing pretty good. I mean,
in basketball,
yeah, for once in I don't know how long, like it was. I haven't really kept up with college basketball that much because I'm more of an NBA enjoyer, but I do keep up with, at least like check it out every once in a while how Georgia basketball's doing, and they're actually doing pretty good. We just beat Kentucky and Oklahoma back to back.
yeah, I think what's going to end up happening is the SEC is going to stop being a football conference, and they're just going to become a college basketball conference because with NIL, that's the only way they're going to be able to compete with all the big money areas that they're going to go up against. But that's a theory discussion for another time. They're all looking at Kentucky and being like, how have you been so good at basketball for all these years? Oh, you took all that football money and you just put it in the basketball program? You can do that and just get national titles out of it? Well, hang on a minute.
Well, there's some precedents to that. Well, excuse me, not precedents. There's some I guess you're correct with that assertion. Right now, as the top 25, the AP top 25 as of the 13th. So today, there's 8 SEC teams in the top 25.
Yeah.
Insane. Auburn, the best team in the country. Alabama's in the top 5, followed by Florida. Kentucky obviously is still there. I think we were assuming Kentucky would take kind of a, fall back once Calipari left, but that's...
No. They were going up. They were going up from Calipari, especially with Pope. Pope's a much better coach than Calipari was. Like Calipari is a good recruiter, but in the NIL world, guess what recruits just as well as Calipari? A big old bag of money.
Yeah. Speaking of Coach Cal, they're 11-5, 0-3 in the SEC. Arkansas not doing so hot. But,
I rest my case.
Listen,
Yeah.
you know my feelings on Coach Cal. He's, she said he's a great recruiter. That X's and O's guy, I've never been impressed by him.
No. He should have taken the jump to the NBA when he had the chance, just so that he could have bowed out. Kind of like what he should have done what Rick did, and Rick shouldn't have done what Rick did. It's really what it boils down to. Rick should have stayed in college, and Cal should have made the jump to the Knicks or whoever when they were calling, because his system probably would have worked a little bit better there. Staying in the college world though, so last week we talked about Deion Sanders and getting possibly looks from the Raiders. Turns out the Raiders have come out and said, no, we were not that stupid. However, do you know who is that stupid?
The Dallas Cowboys.
That's right. We're going to get to the Cowboys more later, but like that was like late breaking news just before we started, was that they've expressed interest, and I'm thinking like, oh, you are just one big dumpster fire of a franchise, aren't you?
Yeah, no, they are.
There's a lot more to that, and we're going to get into it. But and then after that, now we've got, last but not least, Notre Dame versus Ohio State. Who y'all think's going to win that one?
Irish for the sake of the nation.
I won't. Sadly, this pains me to say it because I do not like Notre Dame, but I hope Notre Dame wins it. But I have a very bad feeling Ohio State's about to take it all.
You know where I saw that you wanted to Ohio State, or not Ohio State? You wanted Notre Dame to win it. I saw it on Blue Sky. You know why I saw it on Blue Sky? Because our Blue Sky account, the Jersey Tales,
is run by
Blue Sky. Blue Sky is now active and is actively following all sorts of sports folks, and it's a great place to find some fun things and late breaking news, and mostly just fun stuff.
You know, when I saw you like that post, I knew you were going to say something about this. I knew you were going to say something about it. It already pains me enough to say this, because I do not like Notre Dame, because they at least fake one injury every time we play them. At least.
But you know that's called the luck of the Irish, right?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what we're calling it now?
Yeah.
I thought it was called Rudy.
No, but yeah, I'm going for the Irish this game. Because they actually beat us for their first time in school history.
It's the first time that I've seen the Irish in a playoff game and not thought that they were just there because they were Notre Dame. And they have one of the largest NIL budgets, I believe, in the country. So, like, they actually might be pretty good. So that's who I'm looking for. Now, I also would love it if Ryan Day won it, just because of the absolute. I don't think you understand the dilemma that right now is going on with every Ohio State fan in the country, because they desperately want to fire Ryan Day because he loses to Michigan a lot. But then he comes home with a national title, and they're still going to be like, can we still fire him?
It's like, do you want to lose to Michigan and blow everyone out to go to win the title, or do you want to beat Michigan and lose to Tennessee in the first round?
Or beat Michigan and not make it into the playoff? Yeah, you ask Ohio State fans right now, would they rather trade places with Michigan fans right now, where they won the game and are basically went to they go to a lower bowl, right? Did they even make it to a bowl?
Michigan, yes, they play Alabama.
Yeah. And so you have those options, or you get to play for a national title but still lose to Michigan. What are they taking? And like people will be like, oh, well, as a true fan, I want to beat Michigan. And it's like, because, I mean, I've had to live that world too, where, we had situations where we would lose to Kentucky and then go on to play for a national title, or we would just barely beat Kentucky. And, and as much as I hate Kentucky and as much as I want us to like,
Regrettably, and I hate saying this, and I say that because as a fan of a Big Ten team, I do not root for other Big Ten teams. I actively root against them all to lose, except for Maryland. But we have a problem with Notre Dame existing and Ohio State existing as well. So I think Ohio State will win. I don't believe in Notre Dame. I've never believed in Notre Dame ever. I always think they are paper tigers, or I guess paper fighting Irish, whatever they're. I don't know, but yeah, they're not going to win. It's a good story, just like the 2013 team was a good story, but just like that team, they're going to lose badly against a superior opponent.
Was it really a good story? Like the fake girlfriend, was that really?
Okay,
It was so good that Netflix had to do a 30 for 30 on it.
In Manti's defense and our defense, we were not aware at the time it was a fake girlfriend. We were not aware. Okay, but excluding that, it was a good story to see them make it that far.
All right, so you know how you know it was a fake girlfriend?
How?
Because you are the star on the Notre Dame football team at the University of Notre Dame, which his entire campus is filled with college-aged Catholic schoolgirls. Like, come on, there's no way that was a real thing. Like, he's got to be going out and having a good time, and if he doesn't, I mean,
Listen, I think it's sad that he got catfished. At the same time, it was a good story.
That's why you have rules. Like, you don't get into a relationship until you meet somebody. I'm sorry. Also, I know there's a lot of furries listening. That's really sound advice, furries. I'm just telling you right now. I've been in the fandom a long time. You 100% do not lock down into a relationship until you meet somebody.
Yes.
That's like rule number 1.
Oh, gosh.
From experience, yes.
Yeah, same. They were planning marriage and moving in together, and like
he was like that for 5 minutes.
He was gonna propose at the. Were they actually married, or was that their girlfriend? I don't think they were married. Okay, yeah, I had to make sure. Yeah, no, it's excluding that, but no, it's gonna be just like 2013. Again, it's a nice story, and I do think not Riley Freeman, excuse me,
Marcus Freeman.
Marcus Freeman has done a good job at Notre Dame, but I don't know if they'll match up well with Ohio State, and I think Ohio State runs away with it. By the second quarter, we'll be turning this game off. It's not going to be close.
See, I think the defense is going to keep it close. I think it's going to be a close game.
I feel like it'll be close too. I feel like we've underestimated Notre Dame a bit, honestly.
Notre Dame's defense looks fantastic. I'm still not convinced on their offense.
This is why Ohio State is a 9.5 point favorite.
I feel like. Go ahead.
I just can't stand Ohio State this season. They do good one season. They say they run well. Obviously they did run through the SEC this year. But I'm just gonna be real, they think they're hot. Insert other word for crap every year, and then the one year they actually are good, they can back it up. They just make sure it's everybody's knowledge, and it's annoying.
Or they also get banned from postseason play and then cry about how they were excluded from playing for the national title, even though they were the best team in the country. And It's like, I remember that year because I had a senior manager that was a huge Ohio State fan, and I think Louisville was making a pretty decent run at that point. And like he would just come over and he would just bemoan it. And of course I was like, well, let's look at your strength of schedule. He goes, you don't have to look at anything. We're undefeated. Like, this is the best team in the country. It's like, yeah, but you're beating up on like Little Sisters of the Poor. I mean, come on.
You beat Northwestern, Wisconsin, Minnesota. The only real opponent you have is Penn State. Now you got Oregon.
So
I feel like this same discussion was had, and I hate to bring this, 2013 up, but I feel like this same discussion was had in 2013 that we're going to have a close game because of the Notre Dame defense. And again, we saw what happened. Obviously, this is two different teams, two different circumstances, two different coaches, but I just don't see how they're going to keep up with Ohio State. And maybe I'm wrong with that, but I think Ohio State will win, and Ryan Day will live to see another season before he's fired next season for not,
beating Michigan.
yeah. We'll
to the
probably
national
have that.
title game, and you guys want him fired. It's like, do you clowns even know? But to circle back though to something that Cy was touching on. So you're in the Big Ten, and you can't find yourself to cheer for a Big Ten team, right? Because that's what real conferences are, right? They don't want to cheer for their other conference opponents because they hate all their conference opponents, right?
Yeah. Except the
Yeah.
SEC, but yeah,
Well, no, you mean except for really sucky conferences this year. Like they seem to really want to chant a certain chant every time one of their teams does something, but not their team does something, but like another team in that group does something. And what conference was that, Bunt?
No comment.
No. I believe there was a bet that must be paid.
The SEC.
Thank you. Now, much to Bunt's chagrin, we are leaving the world of college and moving on into back to the NFL, where we are gonna talk about them boys, right, Cy?
How about them Cowboys? Woo! All right, kind of washed my mouth out with soap, 'cause I'm never saying that again. Okay, the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. Where to start? Well, as
Asterisk.
it's a,
No, it's not. Well, I guess that's why they have the star as the icon, right? Because they couldn't do an asterisk because Jerry's too cheap to probably pay for that. But
Yeah.
like that's why the star's there. America's team star.
oh, you're not wrong. So late today, Dallas Cowboys decided they were going to part ways. They made it official. They're parting ways with Mike McCarthy, which was kind of an open secret that they were doing it. I mean, anyone who could look at that and could say, yeah, they're probably going to move on from him, but I don't know why they're taking so long. But it became official today. So Mike McCarthy was 49-34 in regular season games.
Three playoff appearances.
Yeah, but like most Dallas Cowboys coaches dating back to it was obvious that this was going to happen. It was an amicable divorce between McCarthy and the Cowboys.
Was it?
What's up?
Because like McCarthy's team has said that they had an idea in mind, and then the Cowboys had a different idea in mind, and that they just could not come to an agreement. And then Jerry's come out and said, like, "Oh no, we never talked about contracts."
Well, I believe McCarthy's team. Jerry's gonna Jerry. He's gonna lie to make himself feel better and paint a certain narrative. I think there was mutual interest on either side to come up with a contract extension. If people remember, the Bears requested permission to speak to Mike McCarthy only a few days ago, and the Cowboys nixed that in the butt. Presumably that was because they were working on some kind of agreement. Obviously that fell through today, and they wanted to move on from Mike McCarthy. But Dallas is in a very precarious position. They're in win now mode, but they have no direction. Even their former quarterback, Troy Aikman, has come out and said the team has no direction, and it's not a coveted team to go to anymore. simply because of all the turmoil and drama surrounding the team. It's I personally don't know where they go from here. The good news is because they're the Cowboys, they have options of people, they can interview like Ben Johnson, Brian Flores, Todd Monken, Aaron Glenn. But I expect Jerry, because of who he is, to look outside the box and maybe look into some unconventional choices at head coach.
Yes, but also because they are the Cowboys. The Cowboys did the most Cowboy thing ever, and apparently there was mutual interest between Bill Belichick and the Cowboys, but the Cowboys never back-channeled that to Bill before Bill signed the contract, because he would
Cowboys gonna do what Cowboys gonna do.
Yeah, the Cowboys are gonna count, because like Bill's like, if there was an inkling of interest, yeah, that would have been fine. It would have been great.
If you still have that interest, you could still pay North Carolina $10 billion to buy out Bill Belichick, then pay him an extra $9 million to coach your team.
But the problem is with Bill's going to be one. Well, unless you're the Jets, he's not really one to walk out before he's had his first day
You got a napkin?
in the building.
Anybody got a napkin?
Oh my gosh. It would take. I feel like if the right situation came along, and if the money was correct, and the team was willing to buy out Belichick's contract from UNC, it would work out. I have to believe that he has some kind of stipulation in his contract that he can walk out anytime he wants.
He's got to be there for the first year. If I remember correctly, when I looked at this for last week. So, because the big thing, if you read into all of the like stipulations and everything else that's in that contract, it's basically Bill setting his son up for a head coaching gig.
Right.
And so if he bolts now, before they had a day on the field, like I think all that stuff goes out the window. So he's got to be there for the full year for his son to be considered. And then like the UNC is going to be like, great, we got Bill Belichick for a year. Okay, we're all applauding. Which is the part that like I think had actually gone down was that just a 1-year extension, see if you can turn it around, knowing that was kind of what was in play for Bell, and then just give Bill a call and be like, hey, you feel like being a grumpy old man on our sidelines? We got a grumpy old man who likes to talk to people for you. And that would actually might work, right? Because like, how much Bill loves talking to the media.
No, he does. He'd essentially be doing the same thing Sean Payton did. Took a year off from coaching, come back, and he'd have the his choice of any team he wants. But the Raiders reached out to Belichick, specifically Tom Brady, and he was rebuffed by Bill. So there's definitely interest from multiple teams in whether or not he'd come back to coach. But I think the smart move for him is to play it out at 1 year at UNC at minimum, to come back and see what the playing field looks like and go from there. But going back to the Cowboys real quick, I do think Jerry's going to, as I said, I think he's looking at unconventional choices here. I don't think he's going to pick a retread coach or some young up-and-coming coordinator like Aaron Glenn or Ben Johnson. I think, and this is a hot take, Steve Sarkisian, University of Texas head coach.
No.
That is a name to watch. I'm putting it down right now.
Nope.
That is a name to watch. Okay.
I think he's going to do something crazy. I mean, I don't know if it's Deion crazy.
I mean,
we did have this discussion before the pod started of like, how would this play out? And like my theory is that the group had a theory of trading Dak for Sanders' kid, for the first round with the Titans. But then like the Titans don't have the cap space for that. However, like even crazier would be Dallas keeps paying Dak while he plays for the Titans, if they can somehow make this work, which I know that there's no trade clause in the contract, but it might work out. And in exchange, they get Sanders' kid for rookie money, and that might work. Maybe.
And another thing is on your take, Silex. Was Jara in his own stadium watching that final drive on Steve Koskisian's beautiful artwork on the final drive? Was he there actually watching that? Does he think that's my future coach right there? That's him right there. Pure blood Texan.
But here's the thing. Jerry is probably not all there at his age right now, so he doesn't have to be there. He just has to look at the hot name of Steve Sarkisian, coach of the Texas Longhorns, the second most important football team in the state of Texas. Oh, come on. That's a match made in heaven. Plus, unlike, say, Bill Belichick or Dion, Steve doesn't have the ego that those two have. So he's not going to challenge him. See, here's what makes the whole Dion thing kind of not palatable in a way for Jerry. Dion is going to want control. That's just how he is. He's going to want control, and he will voice his opinions. If you've noticed, every coach that he has hired ever since Jimmy Johnson has been someone who does not challenge him. They don't. I guarantee you, Belichick, Sanders would challenge Jerry in a heartbeat. Jerry wants yes men, yes women, whatever.
And that's why. Go ahead. And that's why if Steve Sarkisian cannot handle the media at Austin, you think he's going to crumble in front of that media alongside with Jera in Dallas? He's going to crumble.
I did say it was a hot take. I'm saying this not because I have evidence that he would actually reach out to him, but it's an exotic pick that I think someone like Jerry would make in desperation if he couldn't land Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, anyone else on after that. It makes sense, but it also doesn't make sense. So
my argument with the Belichick thing is that like Jerry literally loves doing everything Belichick hates. I don't want to talk to the media. I hate doing the media. We're on to Cincinnati. Like the whole just like I just don't want to talk to him. Just let Jerry just go out and do all the interviews and do everything that has to go on, and let Bill just do football stuff. And they can. Bill will happily tell him behind closed doors, away from any embarrassment. No, yes, I think this is what we should do. And I think Jerry would be okay with that. I think the part that Jerry's most concerned about is that someone would go to the media and be like, hey, Jerry fucked up. And I don't think that's Bill's kind of MO. So I think that's why that actually would have been like the best possible place for Bill to go, because Jerry respects the hell out of Bill. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he's seen what he's capable of. And if his goal is to win a Super Bowl before Jerry dies, like it's basically like, Bill, what do you want? Let's do this.
And I'll wrap this up. Someone has to be GM. Jerry cannot be GM. His track record at GM is not good.
And Bill can't be GM either.
Well,
let's be honest.
Especially for wide receivers, he cannot be GM. But outside of, I guess, Micah Parsons, Travis Frederick, and
Randy Moss.
Yeah. He cannot be. Well, I was mostly talking about Jerry Jones. His draft picks. Like he's hit on some really good gems, but a lot of it is not really panned out, and there's a reason why he gets criticized for the way he handles his team. He's like Dan Snyder. Both of them never have hired a GM. Well, I think Snyder hired one for one or two seasons, but Jerry is the owner and GM. He meddles in that program, on that team way too much, and it's led to negative results. So, ideally, I don't think Bill will come into that situation and not want to have his hands all over the draft process, free agency, scouting, all that. I think he's going to want to do that, and I don't know if Jerry's willing to give up that kind of control.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, like Jerry's got to be looking at this, going like, I just want to see us win a Super Bowl. I'm tired. I'm tired of, hosting Saturday morning horror from Tales of the Crypt Keeper. Like,
Oh, that's crazy.
I mean,
Or make a cameo appearance on Landman. That's who I need to hire. Landman.
all right. So outside the Cowboys, we're gonna move back on to what happened this week in playoff world. Right now, it looks like the Rams are going to take this, which surprisingly, I'm not a Rams fan. So, like, I don't really have a horse in this race other than, like, you know what? I'll pull just a little bit for the Rams, just for friends that are Rams fans. Also, just to prove to people who keep telling me that Darnell is actually a really good quarterback. Because
Who?
Darnell.
Darnell. Who's Darnell?
Sam Darnell. Sam
Yeah.
Darnold. Seeing ghost.
Darnell.
It's like, who is Darnell?
It definitely helped if you say the name right.
Because he started with the Jets, right? He started with the Jets, and then he went where? Where did he go after the Jets?
Panthers.
Carolina.
Panthers.
And then after the Panthers, did he go straight
back up with Purdy.
Yep. And then to where he's at now.
Be a backup to JJ McCarthy.
Yeah. Now, granted, getting drafted to the Jets, it's pretty much a death sentence to anybody not named Sanchez, right? I mean, is there any quarterback that's been successful out of the Jets in the last 20 years other than Sanchez?
Chad Pennington for like one season.
That's not success. That's a fluke. Success is like 2 years.
Wait, no, was that Chad Pennington on the Jets? Might have been the Dolphins. One of the two. It was that 1 year where New England didn't win the AFC East. That 1 year.
The 2008. That's with the Dolphins.
Okay, yeah.
No, he was with the Dolphins. Yeah.
Okay then. Yeah, no, it's been Mark Sanchez then.
Yeah. Which, like, that, I mean, that's a story on its own. And so people just say, oh no, like he's got to sit and he's got to develop because he's got the weapons. He just needs to develop. It's like, yeah, but like you sent him to the Jets first, which that just ruins. I'm trying to think of like a good analogy for that without like being gross, but I can't really come up with any. I don't know. It's like I'm going to build a house and yeah, I mean, sure, like the entire first floor lumber is all rotten and filled with termites. But hey, the rest of the house looks great. It's like, yeah, but your foundation is terrible. I don't know. But I've got people that are like yelling at me, telling me that he's actually a good quarterback. And I'm thinking like, no, he just happens to have one of the best wide receivers in the country playing under him. One of, not the best, just one of. If you want to know who the best is, well, you know, I'm not shy about that.
They get paid. Pay him.
We're trying to do a package deal because they all want to stay together. So he may take less.
I believe it when I see it.
But
I think, okay, Darnold is a bottom end starter in the NFL, and there's nothing wrong with that. But he is not good enough to lead the Minnesota Vikings to a Super Bowl. They have a really good team around him in Minnesota. So that's why he looks so good this season. It helps when you have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and a solid, defense surrounding you. Like anyone can look good. You see that in San Francisco with Brock Purdy. So I'm not, and I really wasn't sold on the Vikings this season. To me, they're a really good regular season team, but they were never in contention for a Super Bowl. And I think when they played the Lions, I think it was a couple of weeks ago they played the Lions, if I'm mistaken.
last week.
Yeah, it pretty much showed that no, they can't compete. They
Another
cannot.
thing is the Vikings have a major dilemma on their hands. Are you going to franchise tag Darnold or go let him walk? Because the franchise tag is supposed to be up close to 40 mil for a quarterback.
I think they're going to probably be able to afford him, to be honest.
Fully guaranteed.
I don't know what he's going to end up asking, but like his market value is not very high, and it's definitely not franchise tag high.
No, he's still a bridge quarterback. I look at Darnold as, despite this season, he is a quarterback that will help you get through a year or two before you move on to a young quarterback who will be the franchise player. They can't. The Vikings should not bring him back. They should let him walk and go to their greener pastures. They have Daniel Jones on their team, who, let's be honest, it's Daniel Jones. He's not going to compete with J.J. McCarthy for his job. But ideally, they let Darnold walk and he goes wherever. Who knows?
Well, I guess my argument is, well, first off, like, who's going to want him? Secondly, like, this is a good spot for him, I think. And also, there are teams that have gotten to the Super Bowl with a not great quarterback, but the rest of the pieces are all there. So,
Okay.
like Nick Foles.
Well, okay. That is, God. That is luck. Sorry, Eagles fans. That whole thing was luck. That was
There's
the
your
hot
hot take.
hand. That is. Nick Foles and the Philadelphia Eagles got lucky that year. All right. If this was, they were not supposed to, because Carson Wentz was having an MVP season and he goes down. That should have been the end of it for the Eagles, but they ride the hot hand and they win a Super Bowl. Okay. For the most part, in today's NFL, you need a complete team to win a Super Bowl. It can't just be one-sided, it can't be a one-sided affair.
To be fair, the Bengals got awfully close if we just had a little bit more of an O-line.
I know.
That's all you needed. That's all you needed on that year.
Offensive
wouldn't have made
lines
him
are very crucial.
It wouldn't have made them a complete team. Like the defense just did enough with Eli Apple, mind you, with Eli Apple.
I know. If this was, say, the 2000s where you had like the Ravens and the Bucks winning with, a literal
Brent Difford and Bradshaw.
Brad Johnson at quarterback, sure, I would say yeah. But they had all-time defenses, like all-time legendary defenses surrounding them. Oh, and I guess the Bears that one year. But today's NFL, you can't really do that anymore thanks to the rules. So you can't win with Sam Darnold. So I don't. You have to have an offense that can put up points, and the Vikings don't. So I'm not sure. I just don't buy the argument they could have won with him when not with Darnold. I just don't see it. Do I think he has a market? Absolutely. There are going to be teams who need a bridge quarterback. The Saints, for one, if they decide to just, tell...
With what money?
Well, that's a discussion for a different day, but if they decide to tell Carr just to, kick rocks and just cut him, there's a team that needs a quarterback for a year or two. But the Giants as well. But no, I think he is a market, but I don't think it's in Minnesota. Because what do you do about J.J. McCarthy? Like, you drafted him that high. You're going to let him sit?
Oh, it depends on his recovery from the ACL.
Yeah, that's true.
See how he does in OTAs.
But it's just going to create an unnecessary quarterback competition in Minneapolis, It's like a three-way quarterback competition with Darnold, Daniel Jones, and McCarthy. Like, I don't see that as productive.
To continue on, so outside of that, did anyone else see the Doink?
I didn't see that Doink. I only saw the Doink that happened at the Broncos-Bills game.
No, this is This is the doink that happened this weekend.
Yep. I did. I saw it after. I didn't see it during.
We actually had a good doink because like this is the part that Lexi is like going to be sitting here stewing the entire time that she is editing this because the commies are going to the next round of the playoffs.
They got their revenge after the first game of the season.
Also had the most interesting game that happened during all of the playoffs so far because the bulk of them have all been blowouts. But it was great. Like, and they did it in another way that is unique to the Commanders, right? So if I want to say they didn't punt at all during that entire game, which they've done that now 3 times this season.
That is a lot crazier than what people think.
Yeah, like I mean that is they've got a really good offensive coordinator, and that offensive coordinator really knows how to use. And like I look at it and go like, man, if Lamar had been under that kind of coordinator from the beginning, the Ravens probably would have had like I don't know 6 Super Bowls by now. Like everyone would be complaining about him because like you'd have Lamar up there trying to sell you State Farm insurance or whatever.
But remember, he had the same quarterback like him as a head coach of Kyle Murray, and Kyle Murray collapsed, and that's how he got fired from the Cardinals job. And now look what he's doing in Washington.
To be honest, overall the Commanders have been an interesting team to watch this season. It's produced a lot of good games this season, like the Hail Mary against the Bears. You got the Doink. You got them versus the Falcons going into overtime. They produced a lot of good games this year. Just overall interesting.
The Eagles game.
Oh yeah, that too. They've been an interesting team to watch.
Yeah, they've been fun. Honestly, I had the unfortunate experience of watching them against the Bengals, where it was literally a shootout. Now, do I think they can win the Super Bowl? Probably not. They really need a defense. But
You know
even
what?
go ahead.
You definitely know I was pissed after watching the Commanders Falcons game.
Yeah. I mean, they are fun. They are a fun team to watch, even if you're not a fan.
Yeah, for real. I do have to admit that. Even though we lost, they are a fun team to watch.
But like everything else, of course, granted, like half my timeline right now is filled with Green Bay fans that are complaining that they were robbed. But as far as everything else goes in the playoffs so far, like that, I mean, that was kind of like the shining moment where like it was a fun shootout. Now I feel bad for Baker because I would love for Baker to get that win. But at the same time,
Someone's got to lose.
It's fun to see the rising from the ashes Phoenix story, you know, which that's basically what the commies are. So
No, it's been fun to watch him. Especially Jaden Daniels. He's surprised a lot of people this year.
he is fun. Like again, he just reminds me of a young Lamar. Like, I mean, I watched him play against us, and that's all I could think of. And I've probably watched more Lamar than any Ravens fan ever. So yeah, like that's the kind of like slipperiness, zippiness, like just always knows exactly where to go when he gets it, and just makes it happen. Like that was what it was like watching Lamar play in college. Because you just was like, oh no, it's Lamar's got it, it's fine. and it happened every single time. Oh, 4th and 5. I don't know. We got Lamar. We're fine.
Jaden Daniels was also one of those interesting quarterbacks to watch in college too. Even though the 2022 LSU Tigers really didn't go anywhere except for the SEC championship, they gave us a pretty, not, I wouldn't say like the toughest time, but like they definitely played well against a very good Georgia team that year, and Jaden Daniels keeping up with them. It was interesting to watch him play. I'll also never forget that because that's when I can't think it, I can't remember who it was at her nose guard at the moment, but he picked him up with one hand. I always remember Jaden Daniels for that.
Yeah.
But he wasn't interesting. Other than that, he was a very interesting quarterback to watch in college too, as well as watching him now in the NFL, especially with what he's doing with the Commanders.
And other than that, nothing else happened other than we were all completely wrong about Jordan Love last year.
Yeah. No, we were.
Because we were all really high. Now maybe this is like the sophomore regression, and then we're gonna see like the rebuild process, and but last year we were just smitten with him, thinking like, man, like Green Bay's got like that secret machine in the basement, is cranking out these like Hall of Fame quarterbacks just constantly. And
Yep. Both him and CJ Stroud as well. We were all high on Love and Stroud.
Fields too,
Fields.
right?
Yeah.
Because like we're just thinking like, oh, you get now. Granted, Fields may have had like the Jets disease, where like he went to a team that was bad, and they just ruined him, like similar to like RG3.
Mhm.
Oh man, it's one of those like what could have been, right?
Yeah, it is. I'm not ready to write off the Packers as a team just because they lost the way
year.
they did. Yeah, no, they'll be fine. Matt LaFleur is a good coach, really good coach, one of the best in the NFL. Jordan Love is by far he's one of the better younger quarterbacks out now. They'll be fine. This isn't like 5-alarm. Oh no, their window shut. Nah, they're good. It sucks because I think a lot of people expected them to go further than they did and actually compete with the Lions in the playoffs. But I'm not. If I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, I'm not sitting there on my couch worried that Love has regressed and this is the exact zenith of what this Packers team is going to be.
Well, moving on out of that, I mean, it definitely looks like at least right now, that barring some ridiculousness, the Rams are walking away with this one. Jingles, do tell about the Titans of politics, would you?
Why, certainly. As you all know, that the Titans are getting a new stadium that they broke ground early last year, right
Wait,
after
how old was Nissan Stadium?
when the ground was broken for the new one, 24 years.
Oh, okay, so it's not that old, but not that new. Okay, for some reason I thought it was a little bit newer.
It was open in 99.
That's still not that old, but yeah, okay.
I could get in details about that. But as I was saying, Titans broke ground for their new stadium last January after the 23 season. And everyone's wondering, why is the Titans getting a new stadium when the current Nissan Stadium is only 23 years old?
That's
Simple.
what I was just wondering.
Simple. The politician wants a new toy to play with. Comes in a Billy, sees that the Titans in Nashville are in a stalemate of financial support. Here comes the governor. Here's $500 million of taxpayers' money from the state to fund your stadium, which I am also paying. And city of Nashville and the Titans agreed to the bill, the funding bill, and that's how it got broke. But if you look at the fine details of why the Titans are getting a new stadium, it's because our governor wants to use that stadium as his own political platform. Exhibit A, the time frame of the Nissan Stadium opens in July of 2027. Nashville was selected as the finalist to host the Republican National Convention in 2024 alongside with Milwaukee. Oh yes, the Republicans of Tennessee will love to have it here. Unfortunately, it was not up to the state. It was up to the city of Nashville, which is a Democratic city. They voted, no, we don't want it. And that's how Milwaukee was awarded the Republican National Convention. 2 weeks later, Billy submitted a bill to dismantle the city leaders of Nashville and make Nashville a state-run city. Nashville filed a lawsuit in federal court and won. 3 months later, the state has filed an appeal, which is pending. Go next year. Next year is our governor's is up for re-election. If Billy wins his third term, he's going to announce his presidential campaign on the opening of the stadium. And he was going to make Nashville host the Republican National Convention at the Nissan Stadium in July of 2028 if he gets the nominee. Is he going to get the nominee? No.
Is it still going to be Nissan Stadium? Like,
yes,
they've already...
because Nissan's agreement with the Titans runs 5 years over the current lease. So the first 5 years of the new stadium will still be called Nissan Stadium.
Okay.
Other than that, if the state have it their way, they're going to run Nashville and make the Titan Stadium the little new toy, trying to win 2028. That's just my opinion.
All right. Moving on. Because, I mean, I really don't have anything to say about that because it's politics and I just don't want to get involved.
It's just a rant I had in my head. I just need to get it out of my effing chest.
No, I totally get it. Like, it must be incredibly frustrating with you. The thing that we fight with the city about is like the size of the Jumbotron. Like, that was like a big contentious thing for a while.
It's in your contract. It's in your contract.
It is. Like, it is literally written into the Bengals contract about the size of the Jumbotron. And now this might be a good one. Bills versus Ravens. Everyone else we're going to be talking about it, so we might as well too. What do you think, Cy?
Oh man, this is the best game of the year. Are you kidding me? 2 MVP candidates, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, going at it with the chance to go to the AFC title game. We should be so lucky to be able to watch this. Listen.
I don't know if you're being facetious or not.
No, I'm actually being serious. No, I'm actually being serious. This is going to be the best game of the season, bar none. And I know the Super Bowl's out there, but mess with me for a minute. Like I said, 2 MVP candidates, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, neck and neck. We're going to be able to watch that happen. It is rare. You get to see that up close and personal. Like, it's rare.
Like, the best way I would bill it would be like the bulldozer versus the gazelle. Because like Josh Allen's a bulldozer, like, right? Like, he is just, I'm just a big, massive muscle. I'm going to force my way through on all this stuff. I'm going to do all this crazy stuff. And then there's Lamar, who is this, like, I don't want to say dainty, but like, this is a super slippery guy behind the, quarterback. Like, nobody can really get a beat on him. He's fast. He's zippy. He doesn't really muscle his way through like a running back does, which is more like what Allen does on the field. Do you understand where the analogy is coming from now? Because like,
oh yeah, Allen, no, I get it.
Yeah, and it's going to be super interesting. Now, my problem with this is that whatever the outcome of this game is going to be, it's going to be what used to judge both quarterbacks. And both quarterbacks are absolutely fantastic. And they're system quarterbacks. They both have their own system. Like Lamar's is much more free flowing. He's looking for options. Whereas like Allen wants to be Lamar, but like he really has to have restraints in order to be successful. And I think that's what he got this year, was basically someone telling him no on some of the crazy stuff. But still letting him do enough crazy stuff to where it's still fun Bills ball. And I really think that the game's going to come down to which defense can figure out the other one the fastest. Because otherwise, it's gonna be a repeat of like Commanders versus Bengals, where it's like one of the two of you has got to get a stop, or at least make somebody kick a field goal.
First off, I like how, we live in an era where you can call a quarterback a system quarterback and it's not a derogatory thing. Because years ago, when you called a quarterback a system quarterback, that was an insult. You were telling them, oh, they're one of those college QBs just chuck it around, and that's all they can do. They can't really make it in the NFL. Nowadays, it's like that whole narrative is turned upside down. But
No, you build a system around a quarterback. Like, I mean, that to me, that's a thing, right? Like, I mean,
it
like
is.
you watch Lamar play and tell me if you try to make him play like Peyton Manning or
Rivers,
or
Big,
Tom
Big
Brady,
Ben.
it was not going to be a thing because it just wouldn't work out. But like, you let Lamar
Well,
be Lamar and you build a system around Lamar, that's a thing. And as long as you don't make Lamar leave that system, he's great. Just like if you took Josh Allen, and granted, like Josh Allen would probably play okay in like a Ben Roethlisberger kind of thing, just because of his build, and would probably do okay in the other two aspects of it. But if you asked him to be Lamar,
well, I think I disagree with you there. I think Lamar has the passing tools and capabilities to actually play in a traditional pro style offense where he stands in the pocket and makes plays there. I
no,
think
he can.
it wouldn't.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just saying it wouldn't work to the point where he's successful as he is now, but he could do it. I think a better comparison for that would be RG3, who was purely a run first, pass second quarterback who tried to switch to a pass first quarterback under Mike Shanahan's system and failed spectacularly. But I get what you're saying. More to the point though, with the game, it's absolutely going to come down to defense because both teams don't play defense well. The Ravens don't, and the Bills don't. As we
To be
saw,
fair, like I love the Bills defense. Like, to be fair, like if I had the Bills system defense, because that is a system defense. It's a plug and play defense that they run, and you just find the right people for it. And to be fair, if I had that on the Bengals this year, we would at least be in the playoffs this year, rather than the complicated schemes that we were coming up with Lou. Now, granted, Lou, you give him 2 weeks to plan for you, you're going to be in trouble. And if you are like the big thing on his radar and he's got enough film on you, you're going to have a hard time, as we've learned going down the stretch. Unfortunately, Lou doesn't have a job anymore because he's really bad at the beginning part of the season. But the Bills system just works because like it's a plug and play system. I just need a defensive back. Great. Like, it's not a great defensive back, but it's a great, fantastic. He goes here. And it doesn't matter, if he's a superstar or if he's middle of the road. Now, the Ravens, on the other hand, tend to be more favorably to things that are to their strengths.
they do.
Plus, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you. They do. Like I said,
Yeah.
neither team has a defense that wows you. I think the Bills' defense is more along the lines of a defense that is probably more suited to them to make a run and contend for a Super Bowl. They
Yes.
remind me of a defense that is very opportunistic and does what it does when it needs to make a stop. And honestly, that's the kind of defense you want. If you're not going to crowd out a top 5, all-time defense or whatever, you want a defense that's opportunistic and can get you off the field. One that will bend but not break. If that's what separates them from the Ravens. Although I go back to that Lions game where, although it was still close, but it wasn't really close. The Bills weren't able to stop the Lions for the most part. And I would be concerned about that if they're going up against a team that can, like the Ravens, that can match them blow for blow on offense. I'm a bit concerned.
You said the Bills could not match
No,
Detroit?
What's that?
Did you just say the Bills couldn't match Detroit?
No, I said if they go against a team that can match them blow for blow, they're going to be in trouble because Detroit did that. And the game was kind of sort of closer than people remember because Detroit was going up and down the field. I think if this was Kansas City, I don't know if Kansas City can keep up with them. But I'm still. It's not a bad defense, but there's concerns. So it'll come down to defense at the end of the day on who wins that game. But
somebody's going to want to beat Mahomes. They're going to pick up Lou because like Lou's apparently the only person who can figure out how to beat Mahomes. He just has to go on a team that's going to get more favorable calls. But I don't know. Like I think the Bills got this one. And I'm a huge Lamar fan. Like again, I grew up watching Lamar. Like he was my quarterback at U of L. And he was. I've watched him play in person. Probably like
Do you think
yeah.
the Ravens learned their lessons after playing the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game last year? Don't abandon the run 6 plays into your game.
It looked like they did this time, but again, like I don't know what Harbaugh does.
Yeah,
Like
he's
he's gonna he's gonna do what he's gonna do.
Don't abandon the run. The next question is Zay Flowers going to play? That's the next question.
Yeah,
Because he
without
can't throw it to Mark
Flowers,
Andrews and Isaiah Likely every play. Okay. I don't know
I'm
what other
gonna-
wide receivers they have.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw you an AFC curveball that you probably haven't heard anywhere else except for right here on the Jersey Tales. So at least 3 players on the Steelers team had the flu when they were playing. At least 2 of them were seen on camera giving a big old bear hug to Lamar.
Uh-oh.
Now, if you know anything about Lamar, he is a freaking football wizard. But if he gets the sniffles, he does not have a good game afterwards.
We will know about it tomorrow because it takes 48 hours to incubate.
48 to that's assuming that
that was a Saturday night game. Here we are Monday night. That's 48 hours.
I mean, because one of them was a defensive lineman that they had apparently pumped in 4 bags of IVs into before the game.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Should not have been playing at that point.
Again, their goal was to get that guy to, because it's AFC North hate. Their whole goal was at the end of the game, if we lose, you go up and you give Lamar the biggest bear hug, breathe all over him.
That's gamesmanship right there. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is
That's that Tomlin 70 chess.
Yeah. See,
That
this is why
is-
you keep them.
another level of rivalry and hatred. And
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin, the Marvin Harris of coaches, Marvin Lewis of coaching.
No, well, Marvin Lewis was a coach.
Oh, that's a take. Oh my God. That's a bad take.
No, I just heard it. I don't know. I just heard that on the radio all day.
Oh God.
That's bad because like Tomlin's actually good at coaching as opposed to Lewis, who
Yeah.
if Lewis just had a little bit of discipline, just a little bit, he would have been a
could have beat the
fantastic
Steelers.
coach. He'd have been a fantastic coach.
I
Because
still
he would have
remember.
got, we would have gone so far with Dalton. I don't want to hear it.
I still remember the days where like half the Bengals roster was in like Hamilton County Jail or something like that.
I remember that.
Or on
Oh, God.
probation, or the docket,
Yeah,
hey, who's on your
Jones.
roster? You mean my
God,
docket?
Pac-Man Jones. Oh my God, that's a name. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Man, but yes, also, and then Burfort's. I'm gonna say that wrong.
Perfect.
No, that's not right either. Crap. The guy that took the head off the Steelers player.
Yeah, Vontez Perfect. Who gave
Yeah.
Brown a CTE. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, just please, just a little bit of this. Like he ran off to the locker room, and like we would have been fine if he just would have freaking stayed there. I watched that game, and like that was what it was like to be a Bengals fan up until Burrow showed up and actually like showed us that we can actually win a playoff game, because you had hope. Well, no, you first tuned in, and we were losing the Steelers bad. Well, we might as well just crack open the bourbon now, because like we're getting our butts kicked. So we're watching it, or you're watching it, and all of a sudden you get that little tinge of hope, and it's like, oh, no, like for real, like we actually might win this, and then it's like, oh, holy cow, we're gonna freaking win this, and then it comes down to the very end, like The last play somehow gives them like 55 yards. Like Roethlisberger was out, magically comes back in, and just a whole bunch of other stuff. Like that was like the emotional roller coaster that what it meant to be. That game was what it meant to be a Bengals fan for like the last 20 years, because your whole time I'm not getting hope. No, we're losing. It's fine. I'm just here to watch us lose another playoff game. And it's like, holy crap, we're back. We're ahead. Oh, no way. We're going to win. We are going to win. All you got to do is make sure that ball doesn't go across this line. And like, we have got this. And it's like, oh, he missed. He missed. And then, wait, why is that dude laying on the floor? Oh, no. And then you had the double penalty. So you had the penalty from the ball, and then the dead ball penalty that puts them in field goal range. And it was like, all right, Jingles, I need the short version of Jags to Orlando. Go.
Okay. So you know that Jacksonville has approved with the city council of Duval County of renovating Everbank Stadium for $1.25 billion starting after the 25 season. They will shut down the upper deck for the 25 season and the 26 season. They will play all their games away in the 27 season. Here's the interesting part. Where are they going to play in 2027? Orlando? Gainesville? London. They can play up to 6 international games in 2027. Can you imagine the Jaguars playing 2/3 of their home games in London? That could happen if the NFL approves it. Other than that, the city of Orlando is also renovating their football stadium. Try to get the Jaguars to come over there to play there for at least a season to prove the NFL that Orlando can support an NFL team. Other than that, it is up in the air of where the Jacksonville is going to play in 2027, Orlando or London.
So actually, I don't really care where the Jags are going to play. I'm sure like Jags fans are going to care. But I think the more interesting part of this is the more terrifying prospect that Disney's going to have a home team NFL team.
Oh,
And
no.
this is this is remember
No. Think about that. Like,
the
could you-
No, it's an oh no.
the mouse is going to take over the NFL like it is right now, and we're going to do a project with the Jaguars for at least 3 to 5 games in Orlando, and then the Disney would be like, "Oh, can we sponsor them? Can we get in?" It's like what Buzz said, like, "Oh no, it's going to be crazy if Disney gets actually physically involved. Besides having ESPN,
or if they like just add an NFL team to Orlando, like just the Orlando Rats. I mean, that would be the only way that I
What?
would prove it. You know?
What?
Are you all right?
Wait, what? I'm sorry. Did you say they're gonna hold up?
So Orlando is saying that the Jags can come down and play in their stadium,
No, I get that, but did you
and
just
they're
say
wanting to
should
use.
get a-
No, I'm not saying they should. Orlando is saying that they're using that as an example to show that they can support having an NFL team
that's
in
why
Orlando.
that's why they approved the $400
That's why they're
million.
pushing for it. So
Oh my gosh.
ESPN, could you imagine like the Orlando Rats? Like, could you just imagine? I don't care what team like they end up being called.
They're Orlando
Um,
Predators from the AFL.
You know,
I-
whatever it is, but like they're going to be the Orlando Rats, in my opinion.
All right, here we go. We're about to see, the Jags go to Orlando and Disney's gonna pay to flip the script. Next thing you know, Jags gonna have a down season. They're gonna come back. Oh my gosh, they can win the Super Bowl. Let's make a Disney movie about this.
Yeah.
Disney ruins everything now. I swear. I'm just being real.
Just put them in London.
I mean, remember, Shao Kahn almost bought Wembley Stadium, but the deal fell through because the London city officials want to make sure the Jags will stay there permanently to play all their home games there. That's why the deal fell through, because he still wanted to do the split between Jacksonville and London.
Of course he does, because he's getting paid for it. I'm not too worried about what Jacksonville's going to do. Like, Jacksonville's chasing the dollar on that point. My concern is what actually the more interesting story is Orlando, because again, Disney having a home team is scary.
Like I said, Orlando's pumping at $400 million to renovate that stadium.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, to be fair, they already have a home team, and they haven't really done much with that team to begin with. It's the magic in the NBA, but
They also sponsored the Orlando City FC team. Also,
look, Cy, you're just gonna have to lay off Alabama right now. Like, just leave them alone. All right, they're hurting enough. That's Disney's home team.
Okay, that was good. That was good. Oh god, I like how we're we're like in the reality of like, yeah, geez, Orlando, they could host an NFL team. Yeah, we should put an NFL team in Orlando just to see what would happen. I like that we're entertaining that. Seriously,
it's about it could be finalized right at the end of the 25 season. So the Jacksonville knows what's going to happen for the next 3 years when their stadium is getting renovated. Even Bunt 2026, the cocktail party will be in Atlanta. 2027 will be in Tampa during the 2 years of renovation for the stadium. So
It's gonna be so weird because I was like,
get ready for that, okay? We're going to have a home game with Georgia, Florida in Atlanta, and they're going to be in Tampa for theirs. So I want you to get prepared for that next year.
Look, I was like, for a while when I know this was like, something that came out like a long time ago, and I was like, well, this is weird. Georgia and Florida ain't gonna play in Jacksonville Stadium anymore. So like, what now? It was like, and then it turned out Atlanta and then Tampa. I was like, oh,
you're going to Disney World.
I will not be going to that one. I would, if anything, I'll be going to the one in Atlanta.
Yeah. All right. So a last topic, and this will be the end of it. I got a weird statistic for you, Jingles, because I know how much you love numbers.
Oh God.
So you're gonna have a field day with this one as well. So dead cap space. How do you feel about dead cap space?
It could be a burden to a team. Look at the Broncos.
A burden?
A burden to the team. Look at the Broncos. Now look at the Saints going into the offseason.
Right. So I'm just gonna throw this out here. So of the 9 teams with the most dead money this year, what percentage of them do you think made the playoffs? Just don't look it up. Just tell me.
I'm not. But 3.
Thigh.
3 teams.
Yes.
Same question.
1.
Bunt. Same question.
Gonna go in the middle of those two. I gotta say 2.
So, of the top 9 teams with dead cap space, 6 of them made the playoffs.
Oh my God.
That is the Broncos with $89 million. Giants with $82 million. Didn't make it. Bills, $75 million. Made it. Panthers, $73 million. Did make it. Vikings, $70 million. Made it. Titans, $67 million. Didn't make it. Packers, $64 million. Made it. Eagles, $63 million. Made it. Buccaneers, $62 million. Made it. Now, give me a hot take on that.
The cap is just a suggestion.
The cap is still real, but people will manipulate it, kicking the can down the road. Look like the Saints.
Oh, there we
No,
go. You know what's coming.
it's dead money. Like, this isn't cap. This is dead money. This is you are paying players not to play for you, and yet you're still successful without them. And you're paying so many players so much money that you made this weird list. Like, this is a weird phenomenon, I know, but like, my God, if you think about what the Bills could do with an extra, I don't know, $75 million in cap space to fill any holes that are on that team, that's just nuts. And you think about, like, the Broncos were actually fairly okay. Sean Payton with $89 million extra to play with, that's terrifying.
Get Bo Nix another wide receiver.
And then feed the defense, because
Yeah.
we carved their defense up like it was nothing.
Real quick, speaking of cap numbers, someone had posted this in one of the chats. So they posted, I guess, an image of a Dak Prescott's cap number in 25. This is like, it's roughly $90 million with a dead money hit of $150 million and cap savings for a pre-June 1st cut of $61 million. That to me is insane.
Yeah, I'd be getting out of that too.
Good
You know what?
God.
Hey, Dion, what are you doing? What's your kid doing? Yeah, I'm making that phone call too. But yeah, hey, I mean, I suppose that's the end of the show. So in that case, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you got any suggestions for us to cover, please post it down below, or hit us up. Actually, if you want us to cover something, post it down below, but then also hit us up on the Blue Sky. Again, that's the Jersey Tales at Blue Sky. You should be able to find us. We're the ones posting our own YouTube content, so it's pretty easy to find us. We do actually look at that. In fact, there's been much discussion because there's been people that have been asking us to do a wrestling episode. And while we're it's a bit of a request, it is something we have definitely been considering.
Acknowledge me.
Hold on, wait. What kind of wrestling are we talking about?
That kind, the kind you smell cooking.
Oh, that kind.
That kind. Yeah, that totally answers everything. E.
What's you gonna do, brother, when the Jersey Tales run wild on you?
And hey, if we get enough people yelling at us, telling us that you need to do we will do an episode on curling if there's enough people that are telling us to do it. Because, like, sure, I got nothing else going on for the whole week. I will totally binge watch all of curling and give you a full historical rundown.
The Canadians will like
please
us for
don't.
that.
Please don't.
We need our gold medal back.
How about this? We start Jersey Tales League, Fursuit Wrestling, and we cover that.
Oh God.
I did introduce
Impact Play.
Psylocke to the world of marble racing. So
Look, I'm just saying, Impact Play is like a big thing in the community. So you want to branch out and meet new people. Hey, there's an idea.
always an option.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see you guys next week. So hit us up. Let us know what you want to see. Bye.